That is a good question. I have not done a video on Jones fracture, so let's get to it. A Jones fracture is a fracture of the fifth metatarsal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So it's not just a fracture of the fifth metatarsal because you can break anywhere here, but specifically right at this spot. And this spot here is called the metaphyseal-diaphyseal junction. This is the diaphysis and this is the metaphysis. The reason that this is important is because when you break a bone anywhere here, it usually heals. But at this junction right here, there is not a lot of blood flow. And so when you break a bone or your fifth metatarsal, specifically in a Jones fracture, it takes a little while to heal. Let's look at the blood flow and that may help you understand it better. All right, so when we look at the fifth metatarsal, like I said, this is the blood supply. So we have a nutrient artery that comes in the metatarsal and the metaphyseal arteries. So there is this area where you don't really get a lot of blood supply. And so then let me tell you what happens there. So because you don't really get a lot of blood supply, if you do have a fracture in this area, which is called the Jones fracture, you see what they call a vascular zone, meaning you don't get a lot. And that means that if you fracture it in this area, it takes a while to heal. So here again, just showing you the different fractures of the fifth metatarsal. Or right here is where a Jones fracture is, in that area where there's not a lot of blood supply. So now that we know and understand what a Jones fracture is, when you have a Jones fracture, the most important thing you need to do is just to stay off of it. Sometimes we may need to fix it. If you're active, if you're young, and we want to get you back as soon as possible, we may need to do surgery. Sometimes if you just stay off of it literally for about 6 weeks, it'll typically heal. As long as you don't have any comorbidities like diabetes, low blood flow, low calcium, weak bones, and things like that. If you stay off of your foot, like literally when I say stay off, I mean do not walk on your foot for about 6 weeks, it'll typically heal. You do need to see a healthcare professional so that they take x-rays and make sure that there's no displacement, meaning it's not moved out of place or anything like that. If it's moved out of place, then you definitely need to fix it. But if everything is in proper alignment, then typically just stay off of it for 6 weeks, and for the most part it'll heal. If it doesn't heal, there are things like a bone stimulator that may be used, and of course in the worst case scenario, we may need to do surgery. Thank you for this question. If you have more questions, leave them down below. Peace out.